Hello, my name is Ginny Wendell, and I am here to present to you about my experiences while trying to pursue the International Skills Diplomacy. I am pursuing the Isds because I want to be able to prove to myself that I am capable of engaging in the global economy. I am also interested in participating in international affairs in my future career field. While trying to pursue the Isds, I've experienced many things such as partaking in various Spanish courses, doing community service regarding international culture, as well as other activities. I finished 2 years of Spanish in high school and another 2 years at Clayton State. I also finished 1 year of the dead language, Latin. There was one class that impacted me the most, Spanish 2. My Spanish teacher at the time was very inspiring, and we had a conversation that shaped most of the way that I view the international world and their problems. There was one memorable conversation where we talked about the situation in Venezuela. The country is currently in a crisis that deals with hyperinflation, famine, and disease. During the conversation, I realized that we do not know the crisis due to the fact that the mainstream news in the United States do not feel compelled to even talk about the crisis. This realization made me feel guilty and empathetic to the citizens of Venezuela. That conversation impacted me in the way that I am more involved in international problems, not only nationally. It showed me that I should be looking, understanding, and trying to help internationally as well, not only being involved in United States affairs. For community service, I was helping those who are illiterate in English and filling out papers in English. There were Vietnamese immigrants who arrived in the United States for around half a year. I've always been helping out my parents' friends whenever they needed an interpreter for anything because they know me personally and I'm able to explain things in a way that they can understand. There was no set location or where I met with them. I helped them make an appointment with a company or wherever they needed to go. And then when it's time to go to the appointment, I am there with them to help them fill out paperwork and translate for them whenever they need it. For example, I met with a coworker who has just arrived in America for a few months. She needs to enroll her daughter into Llewellyn Middle, and I brought them to the school in early July 2018 and helped them fill out paperwork to enroll her in. I also explained to her daughter about the courses that was offered in order to get her prepared to attend the school. When I was helping out the Vietnamese immigrants, I felt fulfilled because I was able to help those who needed it and be part of their transition from Vietnam to living in the United States. I feel like everyone that I helped out was grateful towards me because I was able to lessen their burdens while they were getting used to the United States. These experiences showed me that before you begin to judge immigrants, you should try to understand the struggle of arriving in the United States and trying to make a living in our society. We should be aiming to help the immigrants adapt and thrive in our society instead of throwing them down and ruin their confidence in the United States. I've been to various events that involve a different culture other than American culture, such as Hội chợ and attending a session at Kim Chang Temple, and even more. Hội chợ is a Vietnamese festival that celebrates the Lunar New Year, but it is held annually in Norcross. I went to the festival on February 18th last year with my family and friends. Once we arrived at the festival, there was a big stage where Vietnamese singers would perform their songs. There was one singer that I recognized when I was younger, called Nguyen. Not only were there performances, there were various games that were held in a separate building. The games were there to cater to the younger attendees of the festival, as it was called the Kids Zone. On the side, there were food vendors selling classic Vietnamese street food and other vendors selling Lunar New Year merchandise, as well as herbal medicine, and etc. I was walking around enjoying the festival. I noticed that there were many Americans enjoying the festival as well. I was approached by one who was curious about the foods offered. As I was giving my suggestions, the lady was attentively listening and considering my suggestions. After I gave my opinions and answered her questions, she thanked me and left to try my food suggestions. After this interaction, I realized that there are many Americans who appreciate other cultures, but they just need the opportunity to be able to see and experience them themselves. I also went to go attend a worship session with my Buddhist aunt this past Sunday, April 7th. I went to the monastery in order to experience a day of worship in the temple. My aunt always talked about the schedule that they go through and what they do, and I was curious about what exactly do they do there, so I went with my aunt to experience it. When we first arrived at the temple, we brought in food that is placed on the shrines where Buddha and the other gods are, as well as places dedicated for the people who have passed. The women attending helped cook vegetarian food that will be eaten by the attendees after prayer. The men helped set up the praying sessions and do the heavy lifting jobs. The praying session begins exactly at 11 a.m., but prior to praying, there's a 10-minute meditation session in front of Buddha and the other gods. After meditating, we begin praying. As we are kneeling on the cushions, we bow to the gods to the specific rhythm from the gongs and bells. After we finish paying our respects, we began to start reciting sections from the sutras. This lasted until 1 p.m. Before the end of the session, the head monk shared words of wisdom with everyone attending. She shared a story about being tolerant by using trees as an example. The moral of the story was explained and used to remind us to remember that we should be tolerant and rooted to our values. Once prayer session ended, everyone went to go eat the prepared food. Before eating, the head monk needed to do the Buddhist version of saying grace. Once everyone has finished eating, we cleaned up and left to go to our different activities. There's a Vietnamese class given to the kids to learn the Vietnamese language, as nowadays, Americanized children have been losing their abilities to understand and speak Vietnamese fluently. Also, there is an upcoming event at the monastery, therefore a group of young adults come together and practice their dances for the event as well. I didn't participate because I was there to visit. However, I did participate in a dance before when I was younger, but that is another story for another day. My experience at the festival and at the monastery gave me the idea that in order to make our society more globalized, we should be exposed to various cultures and be able to have the opportunity to learn about them, such as attending festivals or going to watch movies. As a student, I understand that it would be very boring to learn through lectures, so it would be better to go experience the culture rather than listen. Throughout my pursuit of the International Skills Diploma, the biggest life lesson that I learned is that I should embrace my culture and aim to spread knowledge or appreciation about it to other people. Thank you.